Howdy. My name is Nonat, and oh my god, it's been like a week and a half since I've even recorded a video, and that's for a couple of reasons. The main one being my back. If you saw my little update video a few days ago, you know that my back is not in the best condition, but I have been taking a lot of measures to improve the condition, taking it easy, staying as safely active as possible to sort of facilitate that healing, and, not going too hard. As part of that, I'm not sitting or standing when I'm recording this video, so if you ever see me awkwardly sway to either side, that's because I'm actually kneeling in my computer chair backwards. It's really comfortable and gives me some decent support, so yeah, that's how I'm going to be doing this video. I'm also going to be keeping this video rather short so I don't exacerbate myself. And obviously you know what we're talking about here today. You clicked on the video, you saw the thumbnail, you know we're talking about everyone's favorite Batman surrogate, the Vigilante archetype for Pathfinder 2e, which I ended up making this video because a lot of people don't know this archetype exists. I've gotten multiple comments over the past year saying, I really hope they bring the Vigilante class to Pathfinder 2e. And honestly, I can't blame people for not knowing. It is one archetype among, I think, 50 within the Advanced Player's Guide. So if you never bought the Advanced Player's Guide and looked at all of those archetypes, you wouldn't even know Vigilante was in there. And the main reason people are asking this is because back in Pathfinder 1st edition, Vigilante was a full-blooded 1 to 20 class. It was sort of an off-martial, it scaled about as well as a rogue with base attack bonuses, but they got a bunch of unique talents, either Vigilante or Social. Basically, they weren't quite as good in combat as some characters, though you could spec them to be, and they had this cool balance between two personas, one which was built for combat and one which was built for social situations, which means you didn't have to sacrifice either end of the role-playing spectrum if you played a Vigilante, which was really cool. So naturally, people were hoping this would make it to Pathfinder 2e, and it did, just not in the way you were hoping. But before we get into that, of course, I gotta give a huge shout out to today's sponsor, City of Mist, and their Local Legends Kickstarter. Y'all, you have 24 hours left at the time of posting this video to get over to the Kickstarter and pledge to Local Legends. This is an awesome new supplement for the City of Mist system that is expanding the city and its districts. It's giving you more information on existing districts and adding whole brand new ones for you and your table to explore. On top of that, this is the single best time to get all of the books if you've ever wanted them. For just $59, that pledge tier gets you a digital copy of every single City of Mist book, plus some accessories. Let me count off my list here. That is the Player's Guide, MC Toolkit, Shadows and Showdowns, Knights of Paintown, and Local Legends, along with a bunch of other digital goodies whose normal total retail price would be this much, because I didn't do the math before recording. They've already almost sextupled their original goal, so I know with your help we can bump them over the 180,000 mark, which unlocks the stretch goal of a city guide written in-universe by one of the characters. This is going to be an awesome way to introduce new players to the system and the universe within it in a really cool in-character way. So let's help them break that goal. Use my link in the description and pledge to the City of Mist Local Legends Kickstarter. Thank you so much, City of Mist, for sponsoring this video. Now let's talk about Vigilantes, who are kind of like superheroes. This is going to be one of my classic deep dives, albeit not super deep since it's just one archetype, where we go over every single feat option available to them, of course starting with the dedication. I'm just now realizing how long it's been since I've done an actual deep dive on something. I think the last one was the Wizard. So what is the Vigilante? Well, the Vigilante is a character made of two completely distinct identities. You are both of these characters, but for the sake of mechanics and the rest of the world around you, you are playing two different characters, a member of society and a combat-hardened warrior. These two characters can be of different alignments, and the cool part is it takes effect. If one of your characters is good aligned and the other one is neutral, while you are in the neutral persona, you are not weak against evil damage. You are literally breaking the boundaries of alignment when you shift personas. The only limit is you can only be one orthogonal step away from your base alignment. So if your base character is neutral good, that means your Vigilante alter persona can either be true neutral, lawful good, or chaotic good. left, right, or down, or up if there was room to go. In order to discern your identity and try to figure out you are both characters, the DC is insane. It is a deception DC. But instead of being 10 plus your deception bonus, it's a base 20 plus your deception, which means at level 1, if you've got 14 charisma and trained proficiency, I think you're looking at a DC 25 to figure out you're both. All information about your two identities is also kept completely separate, so if someone recalls knowledge on your warrior persona, they cannot glean any information about your social persona, which I think is really, really a nice touch. Changing from one to the other does take 1 full minute though, and you need to be careful nobody catches you, because this does involve changing your clothes and sort of getting in the right mindset. So if you're pulling a Superman and you run into a porta-john to put your cape on, and someone accidentally opens it because you forgot to lock it, well, guess what? Your cover's blown. Also, you're pretty embarrassed because it's a porta-john. The final interesting facet of the dedication that'll take effect at higher levels is the social and vigilante traits. At any time in either of your personas, you can use any of these abilities. Even if you are in your social persona, you can use your vigilante traits if you absolutely need to. However, this comes with a cost. Likely, your vigilante abilities aren't going to line up with what people think your social persona can do, which can lead to suspicion and possibly further investigation. If at any point the public learns about your two personas being the same person, you instantly lose all of your vigilante benefits. Just like a cleric betraying their deity, you lose all benefits of your vigilante dedication. This means that you're no longer immune to alignment things, people can recall knowledge about either of your forms, etc. Alright, let's start taking a look at the actual abilities and feats you can get as a vigilante, starting with Hidden Magic, which is a really, really cool one that you'll want around level 4. You do need to be expert in one of the magical skills, Arcana, Occultism, Divine, or Nature. I almost said Primal. And this is just a passive benefit that hides the magical auras of your gear. If you have a +1 striking flaming rapier in your pocket and you're in your social persona, that could get a little bit awkward, but you also don't want to go into a situation completely unarmed. With this feat, you can actually hide those magical effects. In order for someone to see those effects, they will need to first cast either Detect Magic or Read Aura on you, and then succeed at a perception check against your Deception DC, which this one I believe is just the normal 10 plus Deception bonus, not like the base 21 of the dedication. But yeah, overall, I feel like this is almost a must-take if you want to use your social persona while having access to your weaponry. Minion guys could also be considered a must-have depending on your character. If you have an animal companion or a familiar, when you take this feat and switch into your social persona, you disguise them as well as something that makes more sense. If you have a giant direwolf companion, you can manage to make him up, maybe put a little scarf on him and make him look like a cute, unassuming, albeit large dog. This is one that's going to be really fun for people to roleplay to describe exactly how they're hiding the companion. Because if you have something like a bear companion and you're walking into Absalom, I want to hear how you're I can't even get to the sentence. I want to hear how you're disguising that bear. Also at level 4, these have all been level 4 by the way, except for the dedication, we have Safe House. Safe House is an awesome, really cool feat, although it's only going to be useful in campaigns where you're staying in one place for an extended period of time. You get a 10-foot by 10-foot cube that is permanently affected by the non-detection spell, meaning it's really hard to find. This non-detection also uses your Deception DC instead of any kind of spell modifier. This is just a big room where you can store stuff, money, equipment, hostages, I don't know. And it only gets bigger as you level up, increasing to 4 10-foot cubes at Expert, 8 10-foot cubes at Master, and 16 10-foot by 10-foot cubes at Legendary, which is still somehow impossible to find even though you've got an entire freaking warehouse. Even at Expert, having a 40-foot by 40-foot cube to store stuff in, you're set. I can't even really imagine how big that is. Like, my apartment, I think, is like maybe 15, 20 feet that way, and then like 30, 40 that way. That's a big room just to store stuff. But like I said, if you're constantly moving from place to place, you'll have to spend a week of downtime relocating your safe house each time, which is going to get annoying. Social Purview is really, really fun, and once again, at level 4. You get a free archetype dedication of your choice. However, it only applies to your social persona, and people know your social persona has those abilities. As such, if you take the wizard dedication on your social persona and you cast prestidigitation on someone, no one's gonna bat an eye. But if you're a fighter in your vigilante persona and you use that same prestidigitation spell, well, you legally can. You have access to it, but you risk revealing your true identity. It's a really cool way to get some combat abilities on your social persona without risk of breaking the facade. Startling Appearance was pretty much just made for rogues, but it's still fantastic. If you are completely unnoticed and you are within melee range of a target, for one action, you attack them, and they are flat-footed. If you manage to hit them with this attack, not only do they stay flat-footed for the rest of your turn, meaning you might be able to get even more sneak attacks off as a rogue, but they're also frightened 1 or frightened 2 on a critical hit, meaning if you critically hit that first attack, they're taking a -2 to armor class on your follow-up attack, which is disgusting, and I love it. Quick Change is when you really unlock the ability to start doing some serious shenanigans, some Scooby-Doo stuff, where your social identity walks around a corner, and then your vigilante identity somehow comes in the other doorway. Because with this feat, you can change now in 3 actions instead of 1 minute, which allows, again, that's 6 seconds. That is 6 seconds to basically be a sim, walk up to your closet, jump in a circle, and now you're in your pajamas. And once you're level 15, if you bump Deception up to Legendary, you can do this in 1 action, which means in 1 6-second interval, you can walk around a corner, turn into your vigilante dedication, the persona, so many words, peek around the corner and be like, yeah, I'm right here, what's up? Duck back down, spin again, and lean back out going, oh, he had to go pee, but yeah, no, he's right there, I told you. Subjective Truth is one of the most vague, weird, and possibly abusable feats in the game. If what you are saying is believed as the truth by your current identity, no magic can detect the lie. If your social identity has never met the evil lich that your party is trying to defeat, and someone interrogates you to ask you about it with Zone of Truth, because your social identity has no idea what they're talking about, you can say, no, I have no idea who the lich is, and it will not trigger Zone of Truth. This is wild to me, and the amount of balancing of what do my identities know and not know feels like a headache, but if you can keep track of it, you can make some amazing use of Subjective Truth. Many Guises is okay. It's basically an infinite use Hat of Disguise that doesn't need to take up one of your attunement slots. Just whenever you change identities to either social or vigilante, you can instead choose to take on a vague persona that is the same gender, size, look, and ancestry as you, but it doesn't look like you. You know, you may put on a wig, maybe some glasses, put on a fake beard or something like that. And no one can tell the difference between you and this mundane disguise. It is stronger than something like a Hat of Disguise. I'll give it that, because nobody can tell unless they use magic and beat your deception DC with that magic. So basically, it's a really, really strong humanoid form. But you are limited to your same general look. Frightening Appearance is okay. You do need trained in Intimidation, making the Vigilante honestly a pretty charisma-dependent archetype, but when you do use your Startling Appearance, now, as a free action, you can demoralize all enemies within 10 feet of the creature you struck. And that includes the creature you struck. So if you Startling Appearance and stab them in the back, normal hit, they're frightened 1, well, guess what? Now you can roll Intimidation, and if you critically hit, they're still going to be down to frightened 2, which is awesome. If there's 2 other people standing nearby, you know, they were having a big conversation, and you just boom, hit them all with that critical intimidation, they're all frightened 2 for the first round of combat. Mwah! That is an insane advantage. And finally, Stunning Appearance at level 16 is okay. If you hit your target with Startling Appearance, they are stunned 1. No cap, full stop, period, no saving throw. Well, okay, there is one caveat. You can't do this to creatures that are higher level than you. So this is great against mooks, it's great against starting a fight out with some action economy advantage, but it's not going to do anything to the boss. I think this being level 16 is a bit high. Stunned 1 is okay, and I think fighters get a guaranteed stunned 1 at like level 10 or something. I think 12 or 14 would have been fine for stunning appearance. Stuns 2 on a crit, pretty cool, makes them only get 1 action on their turn. It's not a bad feat, it just comes a little bit too late, in my opinion. And yeah, that is unfortunately all the Vigilante gets in Pathfinder 2e. Gone are the days of 40 different social feats and 40 different warrior feats, Vigilante feats to sort of customize your own appearance. It's sort of just been boiled down to a way to disguise yourself, get information as different people, and then make one slightly better attack at the start of combat if you were unnoticed. It's okay. Oh, a little addendum, by the way, to the startling appearance and all of the appearance feats. I think I mistakenly said it had to be a melee strike. It does not. You can do this with a ranged strike as well, which is probably even more effective. But yeah, let me know what you think about the Vigilante in the comments below. Are you disappointed in it? Do you still like what you get? Would you have rather gotten it as a full-on class with the 30 different social and Vigilante feat options? I'm curious to hear from you, as always. Thank you all so very much for watching. Thank you, City of Mist, for sponsoring this video. And until next time, no Nat ones.